The big piece of driftwood itself came from the banks of the Hudson River, as did most of the things that are represented, okay? If you're making interpretations of this, you're probably wrong. It doesn't count. It just has to be there to put something else on, okay? But what did you see? Let's get some people what you saw that was there.
Well, we saw a cross for one thing.
The cross.
Underneath there.
Oh, you saw that, very good. You stood on your head? You
It was
saw
the
that?
first one I saw.
Interesting, good. And it's interesting because supposedly St. Francis had a cross in his original. He was supposed to be the one who invented the Christmas crèche, and that he had the cross in there. I didn't put it there because of that, but good, thank you. What else?
The ram.
The ram, okay? That's an interesting story. How God prepares us for things. Almost every piece has a little story behind it, okay? But Father Bob Greco was living in New York City, and I was helping out in Bellevue Hospital, and he knew that I did wood carving, and so he had this meerschaum pipe thing, okay? What you can do is you buy a kit, and you get the little stem for the pipe, and you get a block of clay, and you can make your own pipe, whatever shape you want. And they got a little hole in it for your pipe, all right? So he handed it to me one day, and he said, here, take this. If you can do something, keep it. If not, throw it away. I've been carrying it around forever, you know? So I said, okay. So I took it home and thought about it and so on. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me that I might make a ram's head, all right? And so I made it out of that clay originally. And then when it came time, I saw this and I said, okay, I've already had practice of making the ram's head, okay? So the rest of it just suggested, okay? What else did you see? Yep.
Well, closer to you on the top, like a serpent?
Here?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, that's Satan, that's the evil one, okay? We'll see how that fits into the picture. Good, Hans. What else? Go ahead.
The fish.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's accidental. He didn't belong there. I was supposed to put him in with the other things, but I forgot. All right? But it is good because it will demonstrate one thing, that with most of the pieces I've done, they were like 90% finished before I did anything to them. Okay, so all I had to do really with the shark was, you know, form his nose a little bit, put his eyes in, sand it down, but 90% of it was already done.
That's really
All
nice.
right? And you'll see that with many of the other pieces that I'll be putting on display. Did anybody see the eagle's head?
Yeah, we did see that.
Eagle's head is right here,
Right.
okay? That has a whole other story behind it too. I did make a larger carving. It's like Jesus on the cross, but behind the head of Jesus is an eagle's head. It's just the way that piece was. I displayed that down at in Chester, down at St. Columbus at one point, and I did a whole thing on, you know, when Jesus dies, the eagle is there from the Old Testament to take him right up to heaven to the Father, okay? So anyway, the eagle is there. Did you find the donkey's head?
No?
Donkey's head is right here. If you look a little more closely, he's got ears and stuff like that, okay? So just, you know, carrying Jesus in for the, into Jerusalem, the triumphal entry, okay? How about the bear? The shark is hiding the bear. There's a bear in the back,
Oh.
okay? I never even saw that, but I was showing it to somebody else, and they said, oh, Father Gus, there's a bear. So later on, you can go and you can see. And when I do this with kids, what I do is I tell them, I got a little story to tell you about that bear. All right, I'm a Carmelite, and two of our heroes are Elijah the prophet and Elisha, okay, who was the follower of Elijah, all right? And I said, there's a story about Elisha. Elisha was bald, and he was old, and he was walking along the road one time, and the kids started to taunt him, okay, make fun of him. There were 48 kids. They were all yelling, hey, Baldy, you know? So he called two bears out of the woods, and the bears ate all the kids.
Oh.
Now that's not Gus, that's the Bible. You can check that out, okay? But I tell the kids, and I say, so if you don't pay attention, you know, just follow. So that's everything that's carved right into the original piece. Yes. Oh, if you have questions or anything, let me know.
Right here.
Oh, that's the ram.
The bear's in the back here. Yes.
I have a dog that you carved me, and I still have it home on my dining room table.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, he carved it for me.
Good. All right, so we'll tell the whole story, beginning to end, okay? So it all starts with a tree, right? It's a little piece of Hudson River driftwood. Actually, I pulled it out of the sand,
Gosh.
okay? And I had to cut the bottom, and then of course the apple is, if you want it to be an apple, whatever you want it to be, okay? So it all starts there. And of course, we know all is well in the garden with God and Adam and Eve, and everything's beautiful, and we know the whole story until Satan comes along, the tempter, okay, and they sin, okay? So Satan comes in the shape of a serpent, right? And so we're going to get him into the scene as well. There are a number of pieces. Most of the major pieces that I've done, like the serpent and many others, are done from one particular piece of driftwood. One great big long gangly type of piece that I broke down into smaller pieces, all right? But that's the first one. The cross is also made out of that same wood.
He's adding all those pieces on there.
Okay, so Satan comes on the scene, Adam and Eve sin, sin comes into the world, and then the world is up and down, back and forth right now, up until now. Okay, with the good and with the bad, with the tragedy and the great things, the things that are worth celebrating and so on. Okay, first of course is Cain killing Abel. All right, and then as the world continues to grow and get populated, the problems get worse and worse. Okay, until God finally says, as we know, that's it. I've had enough of these human beings. I'm going to destroy them. Okay, and that's the whole story of Noah and the ark. Okay. So that's the thing God is going to do, but then he says, well, no, I'm not going to destroy everybody. I found this family, Noah and his family, and they're fine, and I like animals. Animals aren't sinning. So he decided he loved Noah and the double, the pairs of animals and stuff, right? So a lot of what goes around is the animals, all right? And they're all, again, driftwood type things. But let me start. In the time of Noah, I don't think they knew about dinosaurs. All right, but I figured we'd have something referring back to that era in history, okay? And so we have a dinosaur, okay? Had to do a little surgery to get his head going out that way, but it's okay as long as you use the same piece of wood, okay? That's one of my rules, all right? So we get the dinosaur in place, representing all of that, what we call prehistory, all right? And we also have a mythical creature. There he goes. There were no such things as unicorns. A unicorn has meaning, all right? And so we'll allow him in there. I saw the piece of driftwood. I said, well, looks like a unicorn, so we'll get him in there. Symbol really of peace and of innocence, all right? One of the first pieces I did was my toucan. Again, God made it 99%. I just put narrowed down the beak a little bit, okay? This is fun with the kids too because they immediately make the association with Fruit Loops. Okay? Oh, Fruit. I think it has a name too, doesn't it? The toucan? Doesn't matter.
It's been a long time since we had.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so he gets in there. Then with the next piece, I did break the rules a little bit. No, this is all right. This is my rooster.
Oh,
Okay. Again, I just had to put the head on. The rest of it was all ready for, production. So we got him into place.
very good.
All right. Then came the one that broke the rules. Okay, this is not driftwood. It came from a mountainside in Mexico. I was visiting some friends out for a walk one day, went up this little mountain type thing, and it was lying on the ground. Very, very hard wood, all right? Because they had to do a little surgery because his beak was going up that way at first, so I had to, put his beak going out that way, all right? But otherwise, it's 99% again, as it was when I picked it up in the ground, okay? Just, they were all on the ark, so what the heck? We'll get them in here. Next piece we're going to leave out for now. We'll get to that later on. This one was 99% finished too. It could be either a seahorse or a regular horse, but I liked it. What I did is I collected a lot of these things, didn't know what I was going to do with them. I finished them, but I didn't have anywhere to display them. And I thought I might make a diorama or something like that someday. But then once I got this big piece of driftwood, I said, hey, I got a place to put them on Noah's Ark. All right? Two of the latest ones that I've done, I wanted to have a spider. Okay, just so to talk about spiders, let the kids not be afraid of spiders and things like that. Okay, so spider was tough. I had to do quite a bit of surgery. It's all for one piece, but I had to cut this off and put it in there and so on and so forth. all right? And then putting the web in was also quite a feat. You know, you can't have a spider without a web, and with my fat little fingers, very, very tricky. But anyway, he fits right in there.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, and then the last one that I did was my bat. Again, I thought that kids should be familiar with and appreciate bats, not be afraid of them. They got a purpose in God's creation, all right? And I had this piece, and I knew it could be a bat, but it had a great big long tail. Could have been a rat too, I guess. But finally I decided, no, it's gotta be a bat. I have a mouse already, we'll see him in a minute. And so what I did then is I just cut the tail off, and I used the tail to make the legs, right?
Oh.
And so the legs, of course, the bat has to hang upside down. That's what this is all about.
Oh.
This is here to accommodate
Okay.
the bat.
Wow.
So there he is.
That's
And it's
so
interesting, I checked it out on the computer, and they said the reason that bats hang upside down like that is they can't take off from a standing position. They have to start to fall before they get their wings and can fly.
Oh, wow.
At least that's what the article said.